right. Good afternoon, everyone, and Happy New Year. My name is Jaquarius Jackson. I work with the Baylor Scott and White Wellness Team as a wellness advisor too. And I want to thank all of you guys for joining us for our first webinar of the year around office fitness. Again, we'll have just a short webinar today, over 30 minutes. We'll show you guys today a lot of demos today that you guys can do just by sitting at your office desk, just as you guys are doing right now. We will go ahead and get started today because we do have a lengthy video for you guys. We do have a video today that we want to get through with you guys today that will take a little bit of time. So we'll go ahead and get jumping right into it. So why office fitness? Right now, kind of what we're doing is a really good example for why office fitness is so important. A lot of us, maybe some of us joining the call right now, have sedentary jobs where we don't have the opportunity to kind of get up and move around from our desk all day. Some of us may have the perks of having like an on-site gym or something like that during the day, but a lot of us do understand the stress and just the strain of how it feels that when 4 or 5 o'clock hits, and then a thought of like, hey, I still have to go to the gym, I still have to work out, I still have to get my steps in for the day. But you can do a lot of these things just by standing at your desk. One thing I like to remind people is that just by 10 minutes a day of some type of movement, you can improve a lot of your health conditions. Studies does show that just by 10 minutes a day of some type of movement, you can improve your health, you can improve your cardiovascular system, and it also prevents a lot of long-term diseases like heart disease and diabetes as well. If you really want to go for the stars here, you can incorporate some weights and leave those behind your desk as well, and even get some weight training some weight training done during your workday as well. But if you guys watch these videos and hang around with us for a while, I can show you how to get some 10 minutes done during your day, and make those 10 minutes active and healthy as you guys are moving.
All right, guys, thanks again for joining us on our office fitness workout. Today, we're gonna have Sabrina joining us on our kind of warm-up video. We think it's really important to emphasize warming up before you do any type of exercise at all. You guys can do quite a few different desk stretches at your desk. We do understand sitting at your desk a lot. Most people emphasize they have wrist pain, back pain, and neck pain. So me and Sabrina are gonna demonstrate a few stretches that you guys can do at your desk. Starting with your wrist, Sabrina, go ahead and help me out. We're going to start with a few wrist stretches. The first one we do is you guys are going to put your hands straight out, put those hands together, put those hands all the way away from you. You're going to just stretch out that upper back. If you guys want to get a little bit more stretch in the upper back, just reach away far away from you as you can. If you want a little bit more stretch, you can reach away further and further, and Sabrina can go a little bit further down. Typically, guys, any of these stretches you can hold for about 15 to 30 seconds. The next one I want to show to you guys is going to be to stretch out your wrists. So we can go ahead and relax our hands a little bit. Next, me and Sabrina are going to take that right hand and put it palm facing up. We'll grab our fingers and bring them straight down to stretch out the wrists. Same thing here, guys. If you want a nice stretch in that wrist, just bring them down further and further. Try not to strain too much on the wrist though. We don't want to cause pain there. Just a little bit of strain to make sure we're getting a stretch. When we are doing the wrist stretch, we want to make sure we stretch it forward, but we also want to make sure we stretch it down. So we're going to take our hand the opposite way, and then pull on our fingers the opposite way as well. One thing I do like to emphasize when we're doing any type of stretching, we want to make sure we do it on both sides of the body. So you'll notice after we do our right hand, we're going to switch over to that left hand. So same thing, taking that palm up on that left hand of the body, palms facing up, grabbing those fingers, pulling straight down to stretch out that left hand. We'll hold it here about 15 or 30 seconds. It'll be a little bit shorter here though in this video. And then changing sides, rotating the fingers down and pulling on the fingers that way as well. Again, these are just some wrist stretches that you guys can do while sitting down at your desk. They take no time at all and you don't have to leave your desk to do these. Now still staying at the wrist, guys. Another one that I like to do, you guys can go ahead and relax the wrist, shake out a little bit if you need to. Another one that I like to do, guys, grab those hands together. To loosen up the wrist a little bit. One thing that people stress about a lot, especially if you type at your computer all day, is carpal tunnel syndrome. So maybe about every hour or so, just take about 2 to 3 minutes and just rotate your wrist while you're sitting at your desk. This is good for making sure that you guys are keeping some elasticity at your wrist. And another one that you can do as well to prevent carpal tunnel syndrome is just putting those thumbs straight up, just stretching them back as far as you can. That's another great one as well if you guys do have a desk job where you're sitting all day and typing. Now relaxing from here, moving away from the wrist, we're going to move a little bit more into that upper part of the body. We're going to move into stretching that upper back. So I want you guys to sit nice and tall for me in this one. We're going to take that right hand, move it all the way across the body. Take that left hand and cuts right across the back of the arm and just pull as hard as you can. Now you guys should feel a stretch here in the upper back. If you don't, a few things I want to point out here. Make sure that you guys are sitting up nice and tall. And make sure your hand placement is on the tricep or the back part of the arm. And you should feel a good stretch here. Again, emphasizing holding for about 15 to 30 seconds to make sure you guys are getting a good stretch. And also emphasizing that we're switching arms. So we'll switch over to that left side here. Again, making sure we're getting both sides of the body to make sure we get an equal stretch everywhere. Now still keeping with our upper body stretches, we'll relax from the back. We'll move over to the neck. The first one I like to do, we're going to move our neck over to the left side. So just rotating our neck over there. If you want to add a little bit more tension, you guys can take that left hand right onto the top of the head and just slightly pull that head over to the left. Now I do like to emphasize people to be very, very careful with this one. We don't want to pull or tug on the neck. We don't want to cause any type of injury there. But we can pull on the neck to cause a little bit more pull to get a little bit more stretch there. Again, not trying to cause pain, but making sure we do get a nice, decent stretch. And let's go ahead and switch sides. And then after you guys have held about 15 to 30 seconds on each side there, we'll return that neck back to the center. Nice and tall in that same position, guys. We're just going to rotate the neck about 15 to 30 seconds on each side. So bringing the chin down to the chest. We're going to take that neck either counter or clockwise. Just nice and easy there. One thing I want you guys to remember when you're doing this one, we're trying to keep that chin tucked down to the chest as close as you guys can. We want a very, very, very slight curve in our upper back when we're doing this one. And we'll rotate the opposite way. And let's return that neck back to center. Now that we've done a few desk stretches, guys, I always like to emphasize to people the workday gets extremely stressful. So remember to breathe during the workday. So we're just going to take a few seconds, take a couple of deep breaths in. I want you guys to take 3 really deep breaths with me. So we'll inhale 1, 2, 3. We'll exhale for 1, 2, 3. So on the first one, guys, we'll inhale for 1, 2, 3, and exhale for 1, 2, 3. 2 more. Inhale 1, 2, 3. Exhale for 1, 2, 3. Last one. Inhale for 1, 2, 3. Exhale for 1, 2, and 3. All right, guys, that is our warm-up part for the workout. Remember, you guys can take this anywhere with you, right at your desk, at home, or if you're stuck in traffic for a little bit, take a couple of deep breaths there as well. Thanks for joining me on our workout, guys. Stay around for a little bit longer. We'll get started for our upper body workout.
All right, guys. As a reminder, you guys can be as interactive as you want to with us throughout the remainder of this presentation. You can just use those 3 bubbles down at the bottom of the WebEx. There should be a chat option there. You guys can chat to everyone that's here or just to the panelists if you have a particular question. Throughout the rest of the presentation, I will randomly kind of check the chat option there if you guys have any questions throughout the remainder of the videos. We did just watch kind of that warm up section of the video. As a reminder, kind of before you do any type of exercise, if you guys have any type of time, even if it's just two or three, pick a few of those that you guys can do and do some of those before you start any type of movement at all. If you're going to use the upper body, find two or three of your favorite ones to do for the upper body. Same thing for the lower body as well. We'll move into our actual exercises here, guys. We're going to start with that upper body first. We'll end each section of our videos with the description of the exercises that we did. So I do encourage you to maybe pull out your phone or write these down right next to you as you want to also.
All right, guys, thanks for hanging around with us for our workout video. We're going to move into some of our upper body exercises. We have another wellness member from our team joining us. We have Lawrence here joining us for our upper body exercises. The first upper body exercise we're going to demo today is going to be a desk push-up. So Lawrence is going to go ahead and get into position for us. The first step we're going to do is get into a plank position. Make sure that body is nice and straight. From there, rotate those elbows out to 45 degrees and then just bring that body down to the chest as close as you can to that desk for a desk push-up, and then come all the way back up to the top. A good rep range to do here is going to be about 3 to 5 reps. So Lawrence, you want to go ahead there. When you guys are doing desk push-ups, some muscle groups that is going to work there are going to be the chest area, as well as the triceps, which are the back of the arms. I like to remind people that the triceps are called the triceps because it's 3 different muscle groups there. Some other things with the desk push-ups, if the desk push-up is too hard for you guys, you can also do that exact same thing on the wall, but just remember that you're keeping that body nice and straight, because you can also work the core when you're doing that exercise as well. The second exercise we're going to demo for you guys today is actually going to be a tricep dip. So next, Lawrence, we're going to go over to the chair for you for our tricep dip exercise. From this one, guys, we're going to come over to the edge of the chair. Now, do make sure you guys have a very sturdy chair for this one. We'll come to the edge of the chair. Your hands are going to go right behind you. We'll walk out just slightly, making 90 degrees with the knees and feet just slightly apart. From here, if you want to make it super hard, you can make the feet nice and straight. But if you want it a little bit easy, have a slight bend in the knees. And from there, bring the elbows down close to 90 degrees, extending at the chest, and then back up at the top. You guys can do the same thing here, about 3 to 5 reps, making that as challenging as you can. I talked about some ways to make this exercise hard. You guys can make those feet as straight as you can, or you can get nice and lower into that dip position. Now, very similar to the push-up, the chair dip is going to work the tricep, but it can also work the chest as well if you guys are getting low enough into that dip position. The chair dip is one of my favorite exercises, actually, because of the multiple different muscle groups that it works. If you guys get into the perfect position, you can also get the shoulders engaged with that chair dip exercise. Now, still continuing on with our upper body exercises, we're going to move over to a desk curl. So we'll have Lawrence go back over to the desk for us. And I'll actually show a few different versions of this one. The first one we're going to show is using no weight at all. So Lawrence, if you put those elbows onto the top of the desk for me, I want you to squeeze those fists as hard as you can. I want you to do a 3-second lower for me. So coming down for 1, 2, and 3. Hold in there, making sure the elbows are nice and straight. And then coming up for 1, 2, 3, and squeezing those biceps. And then doing that for me for 3 to 5 times, Lawrence. So the goal of a desk push-up with no weight, and the reason we're doing it nice and slow, is to create tension in the bicep. When you don't have any weight, how you can make something more challenging for yourself is to do the reps extremely slow and to add some holds there. It's actually going to increase blood flow to the muscle, and that's how it's going to make it a little bit more challenging for you. Now, for my people who work out a little bit more, and you want to be like, hey, I do that bicep curls a lot. I want to make it a little bit more challenging for myself. I do have a little bit more advanced option for you. Lawrence here does have that advanced option already ready for you. So Lawrence, let's go ahead and show them what we have ready for them with that advanced option for the bicep curls. He's going to grab the dumbbells for us. So Lawrence actually keeps some dumbbells next to him at the desk. We're going to do the exact same thing. Elbows onto the top of the desk. Keep them at the top. So he doesn't have to do that extreme hold at the top. We can go a little bit faster with our reps here because we have those weights waiting for us. Now our bicep curl is going to work that front of the arm, so it's going to be that bicep position, bicep 2, so it's 2 different muscle groups in that bicep. What you can also do, Lawrence, hold at the top for me and then rotate this way. When you rotate it this way, it's called a hammer curl. So the hammer curl is going to work that second muscle group in the bicep. So we can also do 3 to 5 reps that way, working the second muscle group for the bicep. All right, thank you for that one, Lawrence. So we'll go ahead and drop our dumbbells down. So there's one more muscle group that I want to show you guys for our desk exercises. It's going to be our shoulder press. So Lawrence, I want you to take those elbows for me and just put them right up at 90 degrees. Lawrence is going to extend his elbows all the way up to the top of the ceiling, and he's going to bring them down nice and slow for 1, 2, 3, and then hold them there for me for about 5 seconds. Then after that, he's going to bring them back up to the ceiling for 1, 2, 3, and then bring them back down for easy for 1, 2, 3, and holding it for about 5 seconds. Now, what's really interesting about a shoulder press and holding it for that 5 seconds, if any of you guys have done anything as simple as like grabbing a cup from that top cabinet, you guys know how strenuous it is by just doing that over and over again. That shoulder press is very similar when you guys are doing that hold by adding some tension onto the shoulders. Now, very similar to that bicep curl, you guys can make it a little bit more challenging by grabbing that set of dumbbells. Now, you don't have to add the holds or the tensions here, but Lawrence will do that exact same thing for me, palms facing forward, extending those dumbbells to the top of the ceiling, and then bringing them right back down to that 90-degree angle and pressing them up to the top. Same thing here with all of our exercises. 3 to 5 reps is a good goal. Now, set-wise for these, that's completely up to you. I love to tell people that about 3 sets is going to be always a good goal to do. But if you have a little bit more time at your work desk, take it up to 10 reps, take it up to 15. It's completely up to you based off your amount of time. The goal is just to get moving at your work desk. Thanks, Lawrence, for helping me demo those upper body exercises, guys. We'll see you guys for part 2 when we move over to our core exercises.
All right, guys. So those were our upper body exercises. I'll pause on the screen just very, very quickly if you guys want to take a quick picture of what exercises we just did here. As a quick reminder for our upper body exercises, guys, just remember those body positions, trying to keep those elbows at 45 degrees for those push-ups and our chair dips. And then as a reminder, you can always utilize some dumbbells, keeping those behind your desk if you want to do those desk curls and those shoulder press. And on to our next section here, we are going to get over into our core and our ab exercises.
All right, guys, welcome back for part 2 of our office fitness workout video. For part 2, we're going to have Ashanti demoing with us our core exercises. Core exercises are going to be really good for you guys for a variety of reasons. They're really going to be a staple for every single exercise that you do. I like to remind people that every exercise you do is going to engage your core, but there are some core specific exercises you guys can do primarily while sitting at your desks. Now, the first one we're going to have Ashanti demo today is going to be our desk plank. So Ashanti, the first thing you're going to do is get for me in that nice straight position with your body. Then from there, guys, this is going to be that standard desk plank you guys can do with the arms extended with the body nice and straight. It is important that that body is nice and straight. You can just squeeze and engage that core from there. Now, from this desk position there, you can hold it for typically 10 to 15 seconds. If you want to make it a little bit more challenging, next to Ashanti, you can just put the elbows onto the top of the desk. This is going to make it a little bit harder for you guys, being just in that much lower positions. You'll see people typically at the gym doing this one on the ground, which is going to make it much harder. If you want to take it up all the way to the notch, you can have someone add a weight on the top of your back. But I like to tell people that's more for those more advanced workout people. Thanks, Ashanti, for that one. The next we're going to demo is going to be a seated knee raise. This is actually one of my favorite ones, and I'll show some different variations for this one as well. So next, we're going to actually have Ashanti sit down at the desk chair. This is one you guys can do even while just working at the work desk, even while in a meeting. But if you're on camera, maybe don't recommend it that way. While you're doing this seated knee raise, the first thing you're going to do is make sure you're sitting up nice and tall in the chair. If you're doing any core exercise at your desk, you always want a nice tall posture, head up straight with your shoulders back. From there, we're going to bring the feet just slightly up off the ground. So they're going to be off the ground about 2-ish inches. And you're just going to hold from there and squeeze your core. Now, you notice from this, it's going to be a little hard to keep those feet up off the ground. You're going to notice that your body's going to want to sway back and forth. That's where it's really important to squeeze the core head on this one. I tell people it's too challenging to hold those feet up off the ground straight. You can hold the feet up off the ground a little bit and just kick them straight out in front of you. That makes it a little bit easier to hold the feet that way. A good way to demo or hold that one, same thing, about 10 to 15 seconds for our seated leg raise hold. Now our third exercise we're going to do is going to be our seated chair rotation. Same thing, any core exercise. Nice tall body, shoulders slightly back. For our seated rotations, we're going to hold on to the edge of the chair just like Ashanti is demoing already. For this one, we're just going to rotate that mid-core of the body left to right. We're actually going to grasp our hands together for this one. Now, when we're rotating for this one, guys, try not to rotate at those shoulders, but just rotating at that mid-core. So just rotating the body over left or right that way. Ashanti's doing a really good job keeping the feet stable. So you'll notice that her feet are not moving at the bottom, but just her midsection is moving for our seated core exercises. One way to make this a little bit more challenging, Ashanti's going to grab the dumbbell over there for me. She's actually going to hold it straight out in front of her and do the exact same thing, just rotating all the way to the left and then all the way to the right. So by adding that weight in there, it's going to make the exercise a little bit more challenging by shifting where that mid-body position weight is. Same thing here, guys. About 3 to 5 reps on each side. And then when it comes to sets for our exercise, I like to tell everyone, like I told you guys in some of our previous exercise, 3 is going to be the magic number for me when it comes to sets. But depending on how much time you guys have at work, you can go up or down on that number, or just getting a little bit of movement in is always going to be good. Thanks, Ashanti, for doing our core exercises, guys. I will see you guys for our next part. We'll move over to our last part of our body when we go to our lower body exercises.
All right, guys. So that was part 2 right there, where we hit our core exercises. Same thing here. I'll pause just momentarily if you guys want to grab a quick picture of what core exercises we just did. As one quick reminder there, guys, as you see in that picture over to the left, body posture is always so important when we do our core exercises. What I always like to see in people is keeping that really tall body position. The chin is just slightly down towards the chest, and then the eyes are gazed forward. That's a good way to kind of gauge that you are in that proper core position when you're doing any core exercise. Part we'll move over to here, guys, is everyone's favorite. I say that with like a grin on my face. It is my favorite, but maybe not everyone's favorite. We're going to move over here next to the lower body.
All right, guys, thank you for joining us for part 3 and our final part of our office fitness workout. Now we're going to move over to our lower body part of our workout. We've hit upper body, we've hit core. Now we're going to hit just our legs, our quad, our hamstrings, and then our calves, our 3 body parts for our lower body. Next up, we're going to have Daniela demonstrating with us for our lower body exercises. We'll have a few here that I'll demonstrate for you guys. The first one that we're going to start with is actually going to be a standing leg curl. This is going to be for your hamstrings, which is the back part of your legs. For the standing leg curl, we'll come over to the edge of the desk. We'll stand up nice and tall here. We'll keep our foot planted onto the ground. We'll bring that heel up towards the back of our body and then bring it back down to the ground. Now, some ways we make this a little bit more challenging. We'll bring that heel up to the back nice and slow. We'll hold it there for about 5 seconds. So bring it up for me again, Daniela. Hold it, squeeze, 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 squeeze for about 5 seconds. Then bring it back down to the ground. A good rep range to do here is going to be about 3 to 5 reps. Continuously doing that over and over. So Daniela's going to demonstrate about 3 to 5 reps for that hamstring curl. As you guys are doing hamstring curls, a few things to keep in mind there are going to be that it's working the hamstrings, which is the back part of the legs. It's also really good for the hip flexors. If you guys are thinking about flexibility, especially as you're increasing in age or trying to sit down in that sitting position, especially for those sitting down at the desk all day, this is going to be a really good exercise to get up and do as you guys are moving throughout the workday. Our second exercise we're going to do, we'll actually move over to the chair for this one. So I'll rotate around Daniela a little bit. Our next exercise we're going to do is going to be a seated leg extension. So I demonstrated with you guys our hamstrings, which are the back part of our legs. We're actually going to move over now to our quads, which are the front part of our legs, for a seated leg extension. So Daniela's going to sit nice and tall in the chair. You can come to the edge of the chair for this one sometimes if you need to, but typically in that upright position is always going to be good. First, I'm going to have Daniela hold on right to the edges of that chair for me to make sure she's nice and supported. She's going to extend one of her legs out for me as far as she can, keeping that knee just slightly locked out with just a little bit of bend in it, and bringing it back down to the ground. She'll bring it up for me again and hold it there for me, Daniela, for about 5 seconds, getting some tension in that leg, and then bringing it back down to the ground nice and slow. Some reason I had Daniela hold that leg up there for about 5 seconds. Very similar if you guys hung around with me for the upper body exercises. We add some holds to some of our different exercises. It actually increases blood flow to those exercises, which is what actually makes the exercise a little bit more challenging. When we increase some blood flow there, that is what's making people get sore in some of those different muscle groups, and what's making it a little bit more challenging for ourselves as well, especially when we don't have weights involved. So Daniela's going to demonstrate about 3 to 5 reps of that leg extension, which is what I recommend for doing for our leg exercises. So Daniela, about 3 to 5 reps there for our leg extension exercises. You guys can also, with our leg extension exercises, if you want to, if you have resistance bands, you can also put a resistance bands around the front of the feet and do the exact same thing as well. So we have our leg extensions. We did our hamstring curls, our leg extensions. We're actually going to move over to another muscle group. This one's going to work our quads and our hamstrings at the exact same time. This is going to be a seated chair squat. You may have seen this one quite a few times. So Daniela's actually going to just stand up nice and tall for me. This is as simple as it sounds. Do make sure you have a sturdy chair for this one. Right now we're using a rolly chair, so just be kind of mindful that it may move a little bit. So I do recommend a chair that maybe does not have wheels and is a little bit more stable. So Daniela, when you are sitting, just make sure we're looking behind us. Daniela is just going to sit down in the chair for me, nice and easy. Awesome. And then she's going to just stand straight up for me. And then just one more time for me, Daniela. And then just straight up. That's going to be our seated chair squat. The seated chair squat is good for quite a few muscle groups. It's going to work our hamstrings, the back of the legs. It's going to work our quads, the front of the legs. And it's also going to work the glutes as well. So we get 3 different muscle groups work with that exercise. Now, if you guys want to make it a little bit more challenging, or you do have the room in your office space, Daniela's going to demonstrate another version of this exercise. So Daniela, if you can go to the back part of the chair for me. Again, make sure you do have a supported chair to use for this exercise. We'll hold on to the back of the chair. We're going to slightly go down again in that squat position. Awesome, just like Daniela's doing, kind of bringing those knees almost down to that parallel position. Daniela's doing a great job by keeping that chest up nice and tall, by bringing those knees down to that parallel position, and then by keeping those eyes forward. So Daniela, perfect, just like that. And then just one more rep for me, Daniela, so people see the awesome job that you're doing, demonstrating for me there. Perfect. So that's going to work those exact same muscle groups that I just mentioned. That's just a more advanced version of that exercise. So I'll showcase to you guys those 3 different exercises there. We're going to move over to a really advanced exercise. Now, this is one of my favorite exercises. This is also just my pastime personal trainer mind talking. I will say it is like a least favorite exercise for a lot of people, but it does have a lot of benefits to it, and I'll tell you guys why. The next exercise that we'll actually move to is going to be a wall sit. So when you guys are doing this one, first things first, make sure you guys just have an empty wall to do this one. When you guys are doing a wall sit, Daniela's going to stand nice and tall up against the wall. She's going to walk her feet out for me just a couple of steps. She's going to sit down on the wall into about a parallel position. So 3 things, I'm going to adjust Daniela slightly. I'm going to have Daniela come up just a little bit for me in that wall position. We're going to sit down to those knees are at parallel, and she'll bring her feet forward just a little bit. Awesome. And then those hands just straight out. When you're doing the wall sit, guys, hold it for about 10 to 30 seconds. It's going to work those quads. It's going to work those calves. It's also going to work the core. So Danielle's going to push that belly button all the way to the back of the wall there and keep that chest up nice and straight. Awesome, Danielle. Thank you for demonstrating that one for me. That's one of my favorite exercises because we also get the core engaged with that one. Now you are going to notice that the quads, the front of the legs, will get a really hard burn when you're doing that exercise. But if you are doing it right, you will get your abs or your core worked as well, which is why it is one of my favorite exercises. Now we do have just one more exercise for that lower body. The last one is going to be a desk supported lunge. It's your standard lunge, but we're going to use that desk to support us. It's going to help out if you guys have any balance or flexibility issues. So Danielle is going to come over again to the edge of the desk for me and get over into that lunge position. So standing up nice and tall, Daniela. She's already doing it, kind of splitting those feet for me. She's going to take that knee close to the ground, but not touching the ground. So go ahead and drive that knee down to the ground for me, Daniela. That's perfect. And then coming straight back up. And then one more rep for me, Daniela. That's awesome. So I want you to go ahead and relax. Daniela did a lot of great things in that lunge position for me. The first thing that I saw, Daniela took her knee really close to the ground, but she didn't touch the ground all the way. The second thing, pardon me, Daniela, that Daniela did in that lunge position, when she went down into that lunge, her knee stayed behind the toe the entire time. That's something that you guys always want to see. We never want to let that knee come over the toe for a hyperextension, just to make sure we're protecting that knee. So Daniela did an awesome job of doing that as well. Our lunges are going to work pretty much every single muscle group. It's going to work our core, it's going to work our glutes, our hamstrings, our calves, and our quads as well. So if you want a lower body exercise that's going to work pretty much here all the way down, lunges are always going to be your go-to. Now some ways to make that lunge harder, don't use the desk, or like I showed you guys in the upper body video, if you have those dumbbells sitting behind you at your desk, grab some of those and get at it. A good rep count again here, guys, is going to be 3 to 5 reps. And as I mentioned in all of our videos, 3 is going to be that magic number. If you guys can get 3 sets of all those exercises in for about 3 to 5 reps, that's going to be a great desk workout. Again, time may be a constraint, so whatever you guys can get in is going to be perfect. Thanks, Daniela, for helping me with our lower body exercises, guys. Hang around with me for a little bit, guys. We'll go down to a slight cool down, and I'll just make a couple more tips for you guys on how to be healthy at the desk.
All right, guys, same thing here. If you want to take a moment here to grab a picture of what our lower body exercises are here. As one reminder again, for our lower body, we have our quads, our hamstrings, and then our glutes. All those are really great exercises, and they all have alternative versions of them. So I do recommend taking advantage of wherever you are in your exercise journey, and using that version to support wherever you are. I do encourage you as well to utilize some of those more advanced versions, as you are starting to increase the intensity of what your exercise is as well. For our very last part here, guys, I know we're a little past time. We have just a very short video. With any exercise, I always recommend a warm-up, but in the exact same stint, it's very important to cool down as well. Whether that's doing a quick cool down walk, a quick cool down on the bike, or even just sitting down at your work desk and taking a couple of breathing exercises.
All right, guys, that concludes our office fitness workout video. We opened up with some opening stretches. I emphasize how important it is to stretch before you do any type of exercise. As important it is to stretch before you work out, it's also important to kind of do some cool down stretches at the end. So we have Sabrina back here with us to do some of our cool down stretches. Same thing here, guys, 15 to 30 seconds at each one of those exercises. We'll do just a couple of those here. First one, we did this opening up, Sabrina, again. That first one, grabbing our hands together, extending them all the way from us, just stretching out that upper back. Some of these guys are going to be a little bit better in that standing position, especially if you guys did participate in some of those standing exercises with us at our desk already. When we did this other one later, we're going to take our hands again behind our back and just extend that chest as much as we can. We did this one sitting down in the desk earlier, but I like doing this one standing up just because you can get a little bit better stretch in that chest area. If you guys went and did some of those desk push-ups, especially if you went really, really deep into that push-up position, this is going to be a great exercise. And then from here, guys, if you participated in any of those core exercises, one we can do from here, we'll take that hand, Sabrina, straight up to the sky. Just kind of reach all the way over to that left side. And remember, guys, when we do anything unilateral, so working one side of the body, we want to make sure we also work that other side as well. So me and Sabrina are going to reach over to the left, to the right side as well, doing that exact same stretch. And then we hit the chest, we hit the back, and now we're hitting our core. But I also demoed to you guys some lower body exercises as well. So we're actually going to grab that foot. If you guys need any support, you can use the edge of pretty much anything in your office here. If I kind of tip over a little bit, guys, it's perfectly okay. But we're going to grab that foot. I'm just bringing it all the way towards the back. This is going to stretch out the front of the leg, that quad area. So 15 to kind of 30 seconds here to stretch out that quad if you guys need to. And then we'll drop the foot from there. But to stretch out the hamstring, if you guys want to, we'll put the foot up on the heels, and then we'll go down and reach down for the toes. So we'll get a nice stretch in that upper back. We'll get a stretch in the hamstrings, and we'll get a stretch in that calf area as well, kind of all in one. And then switching over to the other side, doing the exact same thing. We'll just grab that foot, guys. When you guys are doing this one, some of you guys may notice that you are a little bit unbalanced or more balanced on one side of the body. I like to tell people, when you do notice imbalances like that, guys, take a little bit more time really being proactive about making sure that you're spending some time, and we'll drop the foot. Make sure you're spending some time really being proactive, doing single arm movements on the side of the body you notice an imbalance on. And up on the heel, down for the toes. And then relaxing from there. Last thing I want to kind of mention to you guys are some things you guys should keep at your work desk. I showed a few of them in the video, but the first one we have are going to be our dumbbells. So I'd like to remind you guys to keep some dumbbells at your work desk. So Sabrina, if you want to grab our dumbbells really fast. I showcased our exercise earlier that we can do it with our shoulder press. So again, kind of right at the shoulders for me, Sabrina, and then just straight up in the air. Sabrina's going to showcase just one more rep for me, guys. Remember, dumbbells are going to be a really, really great tool you guys can keep at your desk, because you can do just pretty much any exercise with them. The second one, guys, is going to be a resistance band. So Sabrina, if you can grab the resistance band for me. This is a great one as well to keep at the desk and extremely inexpensive. Sabrina's done a great job already getting the resistance band right around the foot. We can do our bicep curls actually with these, just bringing it straight up to the top of the chest. Another alternative we can use with those, but the dumbbells can also substitute for that as well. Thanks, Sabrina, for demoing that. Last but not least, guys, hydration, hydration, hydration. It's important with any exercise, but just on normal to stay hydrated throughout the workday. We see Sabrina after a few exercises taking a drink. We like to say 64 ounces is like that kind of daily recommended. If you Google it or look anything up online, that's usually what you'll see. I like to tell people, like, if you feel thirsty, grab a drink of water. Typically, we like to tell people as well, as you're using the bathroom throughout the day, some typical signs of dehydration are going to be the color of your urine as well. So look out for some of those things. And just being mindful of just how thirsty you feel throughout the workday. But remember, 64 is going to be a great number to shoot for. Anything above that, we are giving you guys a thumbs up. But lastly, thank you guys again for joining us in the wellness team on our office fitness workout video. We do these webinars again once a month. We look forward to seeing you guys again next month for our next video. Please join our landing page if you want to see any more videos like this. We look forward to you guys joining us again next time.
All right, everyone. That was the end of our presentation today. If anyone has any questions, I'll take a quick peek over at the chat here to see if we have anything. Looks like there's no questions here, but some comments about the stretches and how the wrist stretches felt really good for everyone. So I will hang around a little bit if anyone has any additional questions. I do want to make a quick reminder that, remember, if you are on the Baylor Scott and White Health Plan, you do have access to that member portal. Remember, the member portal is going to be really great, especially here at the top of the year as we're starting to make some of those really important appointments. Those appointments such as our annual checkup. We're going to see the eye doctor, get our dental care done and things like that. And you're starting to look for some of those local providers. That member portal is going to be a great space for that, to find those providers, and to see what some of our results are as well from some of our different blood works that we may get done. So I definitely recommend that as a source to go to. If you guys need any type of assistance as we're moving out through the rest of the year. And I definitely recommend going ahead and getting that annual physical scheduled if you guys have not done so already. Thank you for joining us for our first webinar at the top of the year. We'll have our second webinar next month, February 5th, Wednesday, same day of the week, 11 to 11:30. Again, I will hang around if anyone has any additional questions, but thank you guys once again, and we hope you guys have an awesome rest of the year.